stakes. In order to jumpstart the economy when consumers emotionally pulled back, government must spend to provide a jolt to the economy. In 1971, Richard Nixon is credited with saying, "We are all Keynesians now." That statement represented status quo thinking in the 1970s. But looking back over the past 2 years, it is even more characteristic of the conventional wisdom today. President Bush pushed for the first stimulus plan in February 2008 and got a bipartisan $168 billion tax rebate bill through Congress. Moreover, an alphabet soup of Treasury Department and Federal Reserve special purpose investment vehicles were begun in 2008 and have already spent trillions. While Republicans did not support the second stimulus, a $787 billion package of small tax cuts and big spending initiatives passed by Democrats in February 2009, their support for stimulus and government interference in 2008 had already set the stage. Once you have voted for stimulus or lobbied in favor of government interference, arguing against more seems hypocritical. Not since the 1970s have political leaders and influential editorial pages on both sides of the aisle supported such massive government programs. The question is, why? After watching how easy money, big government spending, high tax rates, the redistribution of income, and regulation destroyed things in the 1970s, creating a stagflation that sent the economy into a tailspin, why would we ever go back? And European countries, with bigger governments than the United States, have much higher unemployment rates. Why would the United States want to emulate those policies? With Keynesian ideas seemingly refuted, why did they make such a comeback? These are the questions this audiobook wrestles with. The conclusions are decidedly different than the conventional wisdom. This was a crisis that never had to happen, but once it gathered momentum, it carried just about everyone, even normally stalwart supporters of free markets, right along with it. People panicked. Maybe all these years of success have made us soft. Maybe our psyche has become so fragile that we allow a small problem to be blown up in our minds into a huge problem. Like fearing the boogeyman under the stairs, we became terrified of something that just wasn't there. My analysis of the economic causes and consequences of our recent economic panic leads me to believe that the economy is nowhere near as bad as many people make it out to be. The title of this book, It's Not As Bad As You Think, is a direct response to the unbelievable and unwarranted onslaught of negativity this country has been subjected to in the past few years. Those who are strong enough to avoid behaving like lemmings, buying into the Armageddon storyline, have the opportunity to profit handsomely. Listening to the dour prognostications of the conventional wisdom and staying out of stocks has already cost many worried investors nearly 50%. Unfortunately, many market participants did miss because they bought into the pessimism. History shows that following the bears is a recipe for mediocrity, or worse. They may be right over short periods of time, but they have always failed over the longer term. Ironically, however, if politicians and voters behave as if the conventional wisdom is correct, the economy needs more government and less capitalism, we will head down the wrong path, making it even more difficult to create wealth in the future. It's important for you to know that I rarely subscribe to what most people call conventional wisdom. Almost 3 decades of experience as a business economist has taught me that the most popular storyline, the favorite explanation for whatever is going on, is probably wrong. This does not mean I am a contrarian. I am a supply-sider, and in a world that follows the teachings of John Maynard Keynes, a supply-sider is by definition in the minority. This audiobook is my interpretation, a supply-side interpretation of the world as it stands today, and what the future has in store for those willing to look beyond the conventional wisdom. Dealing with criticism.